I think everybody's familiar with that saying. You never know what's around the corner. And we didn't expect that this year there was going to be a drastic change. But it's out of our control, and it is what it is. I'm sure everybody's aware by now that we said we were going to be moving properties at some point this year. But so far, nobody knows where to or why. So I'm going to explain it all to you, and I think it might come as a bit of a surprise. Just after Christmas, we was visited by our landlord, who decided it's no longer feasible for him to rent out this property because of rising prices, which we're all aware of. So we was given a Section 21 eviction order, which is very traumatic for anybody, but there's nothing you can do about it. Which basically means that within 8 weeks, you've got to vacate your property. So obviously, a bit of a worry. And although I still continue making videos since then, we've been a bit all over the place with situation, because your first priority is obviously finding somewhere else to live. So we decided to go down the council route, which turned out to be an absolute waste of time. You've got to bid on properties now. You've got to be shortlisted. You can only apply for certain properties in a certain area. And the long story short in that situation is, once you're classed as being under threat of being homeless, the staff bid on houses for you. Or as it turns out, flats. And after 6 weeks, we was offered one property, which was an upstairs flat with no garden. And because of what I do, there's no way I was going to accept that. And because I refused it, they took us off list and said good luck. That's the way everything works at the moment. If you want to private rent property, the prices are through the roof. You can't afford it. So what I did is I decided to take the reins and find my own solution to this problem. So what I did is I pulled as much money together as I could and I bought this. That's a 37 by 12 foot static caravan, already sited in Lincolnshire. And if you notice around the outsides of that caravan, there's paving slabs. And they're about 3 paving slabs wide, so somewhere in the region of 3 to 4 feet. But I have also been told there's an option to extend that area if you want to. So now you'll realise that since the beginning of the year, we've been concentrating mainly on container gardening. Because container gardening is more popular now than it's ever been. And right there is the reason why. And I know I keep showing you these salads, you're probably fed up of seeing them. But when you're growing them yourself and you're not buying them from supermarkets, it's definitely worth your while. And I am going to show them you again. Again, we took cuttings from these only a few days ago. And look at all that amazing salad that's now grown back. So after I finish making this video, I'm going to be taking another cutting, putting that in the fridge, and that's free salad for probably a week. And I'll also do the same with this spinach. But this is the whole point of me making that decision. We buy the van, we move down there, and I'm going to set up a full-on container garden using little containers like this. I think it's going to look amazing. But more than that, it's an adventure and a challenge at the same time. Just to prove to everybody that no matter how big an area that you have got to work with, you can still grow enough fresh, homegrown vegetables to sustain yourself and your family pretty much all year long. So it might come as a shock to a few people that we're going to have no greenhouses, no oak tunnels. But once I get down there, I'll make plans. And there's lots of areas where we could put bits of trellis up. We can grow cucumbers. We'll also have containers with us tomato plants in. We've got loads and loads of spore containers. Like these. Ironically enough, those caravan wash bowls that I bought last year, not expecting for 1 second that I might actually end up in one. Unfortunately, I did buy about 15 of those and I drilled holes in the bottom of every one, because obviously, unless you've got drainage, your roots will rot and then you won't get amazing things like that growing. I'm hoping I've saved one. But we're also growing those spring onions as well. They're coming along nicely now. Tiny little containers, small amount of compost, and more importantly than ever now, you don't need a big area to do it. We've already got potato plants on way in these little 2-litre pots, so when we get down there, these will get transplanted into 10-litre pots, like this one, and then they'll grow bigger and better. And from that little container, we're going to get quite a few new potatoes. And if you've not seen these before, these are Rocket First Early potatoes, well and truly on the way. And we've also got another container of spring onions, which you'll have seen slightly more advanced. But that's the whole point in succession sowing. You get one started, you then plant another, and you can continue harvesting all those vegetables all the way through here. And of course we've also got what's going to be as bulbing onions. Again, very small containers from Poundland. We'll get medium-sized onions from this when we come to harvest. We've got as tomato plants on way, money maker. And I've also got plenty of backups just in case something happens. It's not until you get into May that you pass your last frost date, so you've still got to be careful up until that point. And then of course we've got us pepper plants, which we started very early in here and they are doing quite well. They're reaching the point now where we need to repot them. But this move is going to take place over the next couple of weeks, so I might keep them in these little containers until then, so they're easier to transport, and then we can move them into the bigger ones, probably 2 litres, once we get down there. We've had a visit today from a photographer, so it can be put on either auction or up for sale, so that part is now done. And that was earlier on today, and it was a guy called Chris that came to do that job. Very nice guy. Also interested in seeing these videos on gardening and container gardening. So if you are on board today, Chris, watching this video, thank you very much for your support when you came round today, and hopefully you'll be on board for a few more videos yet. So having seen everything around us, it just proves that fact that if you've only got a very small space, it doesn't matter. You can still grow things. We've got lots and lots of containers of that, dare I say a salad once again. But it's all free food. You just need cheap containers, drill holes in bottom, give them a little bit of a feed every couple of weeks, and you can soon fill your small space container garden with lots and lots of fresh homegrown vegetables. And considering the size of the area around that static caravan, we'll be growing a lot more than we did in that container garden last year. And we're still going to be growing lots and lots of different varieties, maybe even some new varieties as well. So from the end of one thing to a brand new start, to new adventures to come, I'm 100% positive that we're going to do really well this season with us growing. But just bear in mind, I am going to be slightly behind everybody else on this channel because of what we've been doing over the last few weeks. But don't you worry, I will soon catch up. And if you want to see how everything goes over the next few weeks, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you down there. Take care.